Good evening, I'm Keisha Butts with a CTV News update. The P3 plan to build new schools in Prince George's continues to draw criticism, yet county leaders made a last pitch for the plan this morning as the local school board prepares for a vote tonight. Patricia Vallone is at Drew Freeman Middle School in Suitland with details.
The Prince George's School Board will vote on the county's P3 alternative construction plan this evening. Now, the plan is to construct 6 new schools in the county through a public-private partnership, the first of its kind in the nation. The County Council gave final approval to the project yesterday. Prince George's leaders held a press conference this morning at Drew Freeman Middle School in Suitland, one of the facilities on the P3 list.
So I do want to just make sure that we put in context what we mean by the quote opposition. The opposition is in the minority here because we have heard from these families who have said to us that they do not want any further excuses, delay, bureaucracy, political grandstanding at the expense of our children. They want action.
When we return on February 1st, they will enter a school building that is 60 years of age. It was built before I was born, and nothing has changed in this building. All we have done is done a Band-Aid and a patchwork to this facility. And what's unfortunate is that Drew Freeman is not the only school. We have an inventory of more schools in our school system, the second largest in the state of Maryland, with the number of oldest schools in Maryland, and it's unsafe for our children.
I worked here for 7 years and I stayed sick. The kids stayed sick. The heat didn't work. The air didn't work. So it's time that somebody do something for these kids over here in this community. Why should they have to come back to the same situation that I dealt with when I was working here?
Now, tonight's school board meeting will be held from 7 to 9 p.m. virtually. If you want more information, you can log on to pgcps.org.
As the election nears, federal and state agencies are warning voters about potential efforts to undermine the vote. Byron Scott has our story.
I'm Byron Scott. With 13 days till Election Day, a national effort is underway to protect voters from disinformation. The Maryland U.S. Attorney's Office, the Justice Department, and the FBI are launching a national voter disinformation initiative to identify potential voter suppression schemes nationwide, including those using social media to disseminate disinformation. Officials suggest you get your information from trustworthy sources, verify or produce the content, and consider their intent. If you come across this information about the manner, time, or place of voting, you can call the FBI at 410-265-8080. I'm Byron Scott.
COVID-19 numbers across the country continue to rise, including here in Maryland. The State Health Department reports 492 new cases in the last 24 hours. Prince George's County has more than 31,600 confirmed cases. 3,912 Marylanders have died from the virus, including 8 in the last 24 hours. Meantime, the governor of New York puts Maryland back on its travel advisory list. The advisory requires travelers from Maryland to quarantine for 14 days when they arrive in New York. Maryland's congressional delegation sends a letter to Governor Hogan asking him to focus more on COVID-19 issues in Latino communities. Lawmakers say infection rates in the Latino community are higher than any other ethnic group across the state. They're asking the state to develop prevention measures and provide financial relief for Latino residents. Serving as a deputy director at the U.S. Department of the Treasury, incumbent school board member Brian Swan aims to hold on to his District 4 seat. He was appointed by County Executive Angela Osserbrooks to serve as a Board of Education member last November. Swan is a veteran of the Marine Corps, worked in the White House under the Obama administration and the U.S. Department of Defense. Swan hopes to use his background to reduce classroom size, provide mental health services for students, and retain teachers. He says his top priority is the pandemic and making sure students have everything they need for virtual learning.
We got to figure out what's best with that, and that's going to require some investments and some things that we traditionally didn't invest in, like, you know, being a one-to-one school, right, and having every child have a device. And with that comes a digital divide and helping our families get high-speed internet in their homes that can't afford internet. And so it's an ongoing process, and there's a lot of challenges ahead of us.
Swan grew up in Prince George's, and he has 2 sons currently enrolled in county schools. With the election right around the corner, State's Attorney Aisha Brave Boy is again in the community passing out voter information material. She was in Laurel yesterday afternoon. It's part of her Protect the Vote campaign. The campaign is urging seniors, immigrants, and the LGBTQ community to exercise their right to vote. Drinking water from Maryland's Lower Eastern Shore may be contaminated with nitrates, according to a new report from the Center for Progressive Reform. The area, which is home to hundreds of factory farms, may be polluted with a potentially toxic substance. The group says H2O contaminated with nitrates at certain levels can be associated with serious health problems. Policy analyst Darya Minovi says the water comes from both private wells and public utilities.
Recent research has found that in consuming nitrates in drinking water at levels below EPA's threshold, nitrates can also be related to certain types of cancers like colorectal cancer, as well as adverse health birth outcomes like low birth weight or infant mortality.
And I understand that you believe that this may have a connection to some of the industrialized factory farms that are on the Eastern Shore.
Correct, yes. So nitrates get into groundwater essentially from nitrogen that's often in nitrogen-rich manure or fertilizer, essentially seeping down through the soil into our groundwater, and it's basically turned into nitrate from interaction by microorganisms. And so essentially what we're seeing is that nitrates in groundwater seem to be an issue in these counties, and other data from national data that's been collected indicates that areas that have high agricultural activity tend to have higher amounts of nitrate in drinking water. So a national study that USGS did found that testing private wells across the country found that in agricultural areas, the amount of nitrates in the private well was 3 times higher than nitrates that were at the national average.
The group is calling for Maryland and other states to conduct regular testing, have more consistent data reporting, greater transparency, and stronger protections from private wells. While the pandemic has forced many businesses to make tough decisions to scale back, WSSC Water says it's maintaining its quality of service. Officials want to ensure customers that water coming from the utility is safe, clean, and reliable.
There has been, and there will not be any impact to the services we provide our customers. There are other budget cuts and adjustments that we can make, but it absolutely positively will not affect the drinking water.
The agency has lost millions in revenue the last few months because thousands of customers have past due accounts. Greenbelt police have identified the man found dead in a wooded area in the city. 33-year-old Luis Portillo Ramos was found near the 5800 block of Cherrywood Lane on October 11th. Authorities are waiting for autopsy reports, but say no foul play is suspected. Help is on the way for those who need it to enroll in health care coverage. Marylanders can enroll starting November 1st for 2021 private health plans. Maryland Health Connection is kicking off a week of events to help people get free assistance enrolling by phone. The statewide events go from November 6th through the 15th. For those living in Prince George's, your day to call is Saturday, November 7th from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. You can reach Prince George's Health Connect at 301-927-4500. The enrollment period ends December 15th. The Washington Council of Governments is out with its regional travel survey. Specifically, the survey, which is done every year,
there a higher share of bus trips to work. That was the second highest after DC and Prince George's County, so that was particularly notable. There are also a higher share of walk commute trips to work in Prince George's County, which were the highest among the inner suburban counties, which include Montgomery, Prince George's, and Fairfax counties. And also there are a higher rate of non-automobiles use in many of our equity emphasis areas. I think that it will, the data from the survey will help Prince George's County policymakers to make informed decisions on their transportation investments.
16,000 households across the region took part in the survey. Well, switching gears, more than 12 million people are affected by intimate partner violence, according to the National Domestic Violence Hotline. A Hyattsville organization is raising awareness on this important issue tonight. Community Crisis Services is hosting a discussion at 6 on its Facebook page called Join the Fight. The event will feature guests from Community Legal Services and the Family Justice Center. They will discuss some of the services available for victims of domestic violence.
This month is all about creating awareness. And so what we wanted to do was pretty much educate the community, because we receive a lot of calls from individuals who are concerned about their loved ones and they want to help them out of this situation. So we wanted to pretty much educate the community on how they can do that.
Again, the event is at 6. To watch it, go to the Community Crisis Services Facebook page. The county will begin accepting applications for community development block grants tomorrow, October 22nd. You can visit PrinceGeorgesCountyMD.org for details or request an application at the email address on your screen. Meantime, a Zoom workshop will be held on the program tomorrow. It runs from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. Email cdbgcpd@co.pg.md.us for a Zoom invite. The application deadline is November 23rd. Prince George's police offer residents an opportunity to get rid of their unused prescription medications. The department will host a prescription drug take-back event this Saturday. Residents can drop off any unused, unwanted, and expired drugs, including liquids, at 8 police stations across the county. Police will also collect electronic smoking devices like e-cigarettes. The event will take place from 10 in the morning until 2 p.m. Well, let's get a quick check on our 3-day weather forecast. Tonight, cloudy with a low around 59 degrees. Thursday, mostly sunny with a high near 77 and a low around 59. Friday, partly sunny with a high near 73 and a low of 57. Saturday, sunny with a chance of showers. Daytime temps reach a high near 73 and an evening low around 53. And now for the community calendar. Here's a relaxing and entertaining activity you can enjoy right from your couch. The Kennedy Center presents Millennium Stage, a new series launched due to temporary closures during the pandemic. Viewers can watch free full-length encore performances live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 p.m. To see the concerts and more, visit kennedy-center.org and search for Couch Concerts. And that wraps up our CTV News update. Join us again tomorrow at 4:30. Have a good night.
For the latest information on COVID-19 in Maryland, visit the State Health Department website. That's health.maryland.gov. Again, health.maryland.gov. Click the link to the COVID-19 information portal. There you'll find all the latest information about coronavirus. You'll find daily updates on cases and fatalities. Answers to questions about testing and the governor's stay-at-home order are available as well. For specific information about Prince George's, visit PrinceGeorgesCountyMD.gov. That's PrinceGeorgesCountyMD.gov. The site offers information about local services for residents and businesses. There's a link for COVID-19 relief donations. Also, food pantry locations are listed. And if you have any questions, call the county COVID-19 hotline at 301-883-6627. That's 301-883-6627.
It's so sad. It's not.